Welcome to the West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This week, the president responded to the terror attack in Boston, met with Americorps volunteers, invited the Wounded Warrior Riders to the White House, and for the first time, asked a citizen to deliver the weekly address. That's April 12th to April 18th, or
Selflessly, compassionately, unafraid.
On Friday, the midshipmen of the U.S. Naval Academy lined up in the Cross Hall of the White House to receive the Commander-in-Chief Trophy, their 8th in 10 years, from the Commander-in-Chief himself.
You'll be leading your peers in some of the most complex, dangerous missions on the planet, and together your victories will not simply be about football trophies, as impressive as that trophy is, but it'll be about our security and our values in protecting our freedom.
Later, he held a roundtable discussion with Americorps volunteers, where they discussed the importance of Americans engaging in community service.
One of the most important things I would encourage you to do is not get too frustrated if you don't feel like you're completely changing the world overnight, because it takes time. I mean, when I was your age and I was out there organizing, we got some good stuff done, but I also got my butt kicked a lot in terms of things not working out the way I wanted, projects that I was hoping to turn around the neighborhood and didn't quite turn around. Those are not things that are going to change overnight.
Then he brought them to the Oval Office, where he offered them one last word of advice.
At this age, what you need to do is identify, all right, where am I weak? Where are things that, I know what I'm good at, but where am I weak, and how do I make up for that? And how do I improve what it is that may be holding me back from achieving my goals?
On Saturday, the president asked a citizen, Francine Wheeler, who lost her son Ben in the Newtown shootings, to take his place and deliver the weekly address.
I've heard people say that the tidal wave of anguish our country felt on 12/14 has receded, but not for us. To us, it feels as if it happened just yesterday. And in the 4 months since we lost our loved ones, thousands of other Americans have died at the end of a gun. Thousands of other families across the United States are also drowning in our grief. Please help us do something before our tragedy becomes your tragedy.
On Monday, the president made a statement in the briefing room about the explosions at the Boston Marathon, barely 3 hours after they occurred.
We still do not know who did this or why, and people shouldn't jump to conclusions before we have all the facts. But make no mistake, we will get to the bottom of this. Any responsible individuals, any responsible groups will feel the full weight of justice.
On Tuesday, the president returned to the press briefing room to give an update on the bombings in Boston.
The American people refuse to be terrorized, because what the world saw yesterday in the aftermath of the explosions were stories of heroism and kindness and generosity and love. As we protect our people and aggressively pursue this investigation, the people of Boston will continue to respond in the same proud and heroic way that they have thus far. And their fellow Americans will be right there with them.
On Wednesday, the First Lady traveled to Annapolis, Maryland, and the United States Naval Academy. There, she spoke to the 4,500 midshipmen of the Academy before lunch, and then met with sailors and healthcare professions who would benefit from Maryland's new service member licensing legislation, which she then went up the road to see signed by Governor Martin O'Malley.
If we all keep coming together on this issue, we will be sending a powerful message of love and support that makes a real concrete difference for our military families. We'll be helping them build their careers, support their families, and find new ways to serve this country, and that's what joining forces is about.
Back at the White House, the vice president was participating in a live Google Plus hangout with mayors from across the country to discuss efforts to reduce gun violence. On the South Lawn, the president welcomed the Wounded Warrior Project's Soldier Ride in celebration of the 7th annual Soldier Ride. It's a cycling event to help wounded warriors restore the physical and emotional well-being. The Soldier Ride also raises awareness of our nation's wounded warriors who battle the physical and psychological burdens of war.
We saw that on Monday. When that first explosion went off, National Guardsmen, service members, veterans in the area, all did what warriors do. They ran into harm's way to protect their fellow Americans. They applied tourniquets, they went to hospitals, they donated blood. That's the strong stuff that our warriors are made out of, and that's why we're so proud and so grateful to the men and women and veterans of our armed forces.
At the end of the day, the president was joined in the Rose Garden by former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords and a group of families from Newtown, Connecticut. He vowed to keep fighting for common-sense measures to reduce gun violence, even though the Senate narrowly defeated a bipartisan compromise proposal earlier that day.
But to change Washington, you, the American people, are going to have to sustain some passion about this. And when necessary, you've got to send the right people to Washington. And that requires strength, and it requires persistence. And that's the one thing that these families should have inspired in all of us.
On Thursday, the president traveled to Boston, where he spoke at an interfaith service honoring the victims of Monday's bombings.
And so we come together to pray and mourn and measure our loss. But we also come together today to reclaim that state of grace, to reaffirm that the spirit of this city is undaunted, and the spirit of this country shall remain undimmed.
To find out more information on any of these topics or to see complete videos of these events, go to whitehouse.gov. And thanks again for checking out your West Wing Week.
You got a lot of gear, man. You all right, man?
We're working on it, sir.